Good morning, everyone. I'm back. This is Nicole Ali, and I hope everyone is doing well. Hold on one moment. Let me take this off. I have my phone on my mount. So there's a picture of a very strange-looking white woman. She looks like a horrible cave beast, and you're probably wondering, why is this picture of this woman, this white-looking rat, on your screen? Well, this is Trump's nominee for a top environmental position, and her name is Kathleen Hartnett White. Trump wants her to lead the White House Council on Environmental Quality, or CEQ. So I found this story on Raw Story just now, just looking through the news, and I've watched this woman on numerous occasions during the congressional hearings where she is basically under scrutiny and criticism, because they ask you a lot of questions during a congressional hearing to determine if you have the wherewithal and the knowledge and background, and therefore the expertise and leadership to do the job that the president nominates you for. And she has expressed on numerous occasions that she does not only does she not have the leadership capabilities and experience with leadership, she does not have the intellect, the scientific background to understand what type of job she gonna be goddamn doing. So she said, she's been quoted as saying several times that CO2, or carbon dioxide, is the gas of life. Stupid bitch. I'm sorry. Tangerine environmental nominee exposed as bizarre climate change conspiracy theorist. And she's proud of what she says, okay? I think this was actually a screen capture of an interview she did on some news network where she was talking about just that. So she's been exposed. Kathleen Hartnett White has been exposed as a conspiracy theorist who believes that nothing bad will happen if human beings flood the atmosphere with carbon dioxide. So for background, for those who don't know, if you missed second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth grade, all the way up to high school or college, or even like first grade maybe, you've missed that there is a gas exchange between mammals and plants. Plants require CO2 to conduct photosynthesis from the sun, and they use chlorophyll to produce oxygen as an energy output. We therefore breathe in the oxygen and continue to breathe. They've shown it like several. That's why in several places where they cut trees down, you have a decrease in oxygen in that area, significant decrease, because you've cut down the plants which produce oxygen. But she keeps saying over and over that carbon dioxide is the gas of life. Okay, if you want to increase carbon dioxide, you're going to kill all the humans off. Stupid heifer. Anyways, that's just some science background. You can go look it up later, try to prove me wrong or whatever. But it goes on to say the Daily Beast reports that White, who has been renominated after the Senate declined to consider her nomination in the wake of a disastrous confirmation hearing in which she could not say whether water expands as it's heated, has a long history of spouting scientifically illiterate theories about climate change. We all know water expands as it's heated. Water has three to four different, depending on who you ask, different states of matter, where you have different states of matter: solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. Water can conduct itself into three different states, and four if you consider the physiology of the body. But three in general terms: solid, liquid, gas. Solid would be ice, Liquid will be water, and this is for H2O. And gas would be your steam. There's only two forms of fluid that you can have: gas or liquid. And a gas would take up more space than a liquid, aka it would expand. You heat up some water in a pot, over time it's going to become steam and condensate and condense down and expand and, fly out of the pot. But let's continue. This woman is on like a second grade reading level and a second grade intellect, 7-year-old intellect. Ross Story continues to say, in a 2015 op-ed, for example, White calls carbon dioxide, quote, the gas of life, and is, quote, an essential nutrient for plant growth on which human life depends, end quote. Of course, the issue is not whether CO2 is a necessary gas for life on Earth, but whether putting too much of it in the atmosphere will cause the Earth's temperature to rise in ways that will make for more extreme weather. In the same op-ed, White said that climate scientists were lying about rising temperatures and sea levels because they were part of a, quote, oh my God, grand scheme to decarbonize human societies, end quote. Okay. She has also called climate science, quote, the left's secular religion, end quote, and is part of a, quote, totalitarian, end quote, aim to enslave humanity. Oh, this stupid bitch. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Wow. She said a grand scheme to decarbonize human societies. Well, hell yeah, that's what we're trying to do. That's why we're trying to take, make electric cars, reduce our carbon footprint. Because, yes, plants need carbon dioxide to grow, but too much carbon dioxide kills the plants, especially with the temperature increasing. The temperature's increasing, and you have more and more carbon dioxide being produced, excuse me. The plants can't survive with too much carbon dioxide along with increased temperatures. When you have too much carbon dioxide being produced and not enough, it can slow down the ability for the plants to produce oxygen for us to breathe. And this heifer is dumb as hell. She said it's the left secular religion. Well, what's the right secular religion? White supremacy? Then they said read the entire rundown of White's conspiracies here. So I'm going to go to that. And they just put, they put wow. So they just have a Daily Beast. They got their own section, I guess, that they created just for her called wow. Or anybody who does stupid stuff. Kathleen Hartnett White, Trump's environment pick. Fossil fuels ended slavery. CO2 is good. Oh my goodness. This was published yesterday, January 31st, 2018. She looks lost. And I think this was the video I saw. Let me get this ad out of here. I'll just put it in appropriate so it'll stop doing it. I think this is the video I saw like on Facebook or something, where she was looking lost as hell. Like she didn't know what to answer. She just looked like a little school teacher or a little librarian who ain't never read no goddamn books and spent all her time, fucking everybody daddy between the book stacks. That's what she looked like. Like she that type of librarian who don't read no books. And so this article talks about all the different things that she has said, and just all of the idiocy. Like, I think this is the video here. Let me see if it'll play. I don't know why this is still on my screen. Like, get out of here. Let's see if it'll play. That is getting on my nerves right there. Let me try to make it bigger.
Do you know how much of the excess heat that has been captured by greenhouse gas emissions has been absorbed by the ocean?
Let me just take that off. I'm going to take off the Bluetooth and start it over.
Do you know How much of the excess heat that has been captured by greenhouse gas emissions has been absorbed by the ocean, roughly, say, to the nearest 10%?
I don't have numbers like that. I've read about...
Even to the nearest 10%. Do you know if it's more than 50% or less than 50%?
Could you ask, I'm sorry, but could you ask the question one more time?
Of the additional heat that has been captured in the atmosphere as a result of greenhouse gas emissions, do you know how much of that excess heat has been captured in the ocean? Is it more or less than 50%? Do you even know that?
No.
No, okay.
But I believe there are differences of opinions on that there's not one right answer.
Really?
Oh, my God.
Do you think there's actual serious difference of opinion whether it's below 50%?
And unless I'm mistaken, yes.
You think there is?
Yes, and
there is difference of opinion as to how much of that has been captured by the ocean. You think there's serious scientific opinion that it's below 50%?
Yes.
Okay, wow. Do you think that if the ocean warms, it expands? Does the law of thermal expansion apply to seawater?
Again, I do not have any kind of expertise or even much layman's study of the ocean dynamics and the climate change issues.
Just enough to know that you think that there's not science that establishes clearly how much of the heat has been taken up by the oceans. You knew that, right? You said you knew that. My time's expired. I'm sorry. I hear the gavel knocking.
COP23 is convening this week in Bonn, Germany, the 23rd opportunity for the international community to come together on climate issues. And I particularly was concerned about an article you wrote that contains much of what Senator Carper was referring to. The article was "Signing the Paris Agreement is the Worst Way to Celebrate Earth Day." Now, when the climate agreement was signed, there were two countries that did not participate. The rest of the global community did. Those two countries have since now joined the Paris Agreement. So it was the entire global community that came together. And now there's one country that is backing off of it, the United States. So I have a responsibility as the ranking Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, which has primary responsibility over the international global discussions on climate. So I questioned nominee Rex Tillerson as to his views on this. And he was very open and said, yes, the United States should be sitting at the table during climate discussions with the international community. And yes, climate change is real. There may be different ways of dealing with it, but it's real, and we have to deal with it. It seems to me that you don't believe climate change is real.
I am uncertain.
You're uncertain.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I jumped ahead of my time. Is of course real.
Human activity affect climate change?
More than likely, but the extent to which I think is very uncertain. And my
well, would you rely on scientists to give you that answer or not?
No, I've had that question for a very, very long time.
So you have a distinguished background in academics, in humanities and religion,
yes,
which is fine. It's a wonderful field. You're not a scientist, are you?
No, I'm not a scientist, but in my personal capacity, I have many questions that remain unanswered by current climate policy. I think we indeed need to have more precise explanation of the human role and the natural role.
And where do you get that information from?
A wide range of information. The IPCC is a very good source.
What's that?
The United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change that has been the vehicle for ongoing assessment of climate.
What role does scientists play in this?
Many of them are the authors. There's thousands of them involved in the whole project, but they are of course they're scientists.
Would you support the EPA allowing its scientists to fully participate in all discussions?
I don't see why not. I think science should overwhelmingly guide assessments and all of that, but I don't think they dictate policy results.
Do you stand by your statement that carbon dioxide, greenhouse gases, are not dangerous at all to our environment?
As I would go characterize it differently, but I would say that, as I did earlier, it's likely that CO2 emissions from human activity have some influence on the climate, but again, not to the extent. But it does. CO2 in the atmosphere has none of the characteristics of a pollutant that contaminates and fouls and all of that has direct. Can have direct impact on human health as an atmospheric gas. It's a plant nutrient.
So one last question, Mr. Chairman, and that is, you disagreed with the Supreme Court decision that said that the EPA had a responsibility because of the impact of greenhouse gases on public health. Are you now changing that, or do you still?
No, and it that was styled as the Massachusetts decisions in 2007. That's the Supreme Court's ruling. That's the law of the land. But
you think it was based on the wrong scientific information?
No, I thought it was based on an overly expansive reading of the definition of an air pollutant in the Clean Air Act.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You are a lobbyist for Murray Energy?
Yes, Murray Energy is one of my clients.
The head of Murray Energy, Bob Murray, has said that he has a 3-page plan that is being implemented by Scott Pruitt at the EPA. He said they're already through the first page. What can you tell us about Bob Murray's 3-page plan that he claims Scott Pruitt is implementing at the EPA?
Well, first of all, I did not work on that, and I do not have a copy.
Okay, so this guy, Andrew Wheeler, is a different person. Clearly not. He is up for nomination as well through Tangerine, but he is related. His position would be related to the position that Kathleen Hartnett White would be going for. And the other guy that's speaking with the gray hair, who is grilling him and criticizing him and just interrogating his abilities from the past and interrogating his business relationships, he is going to flop in a minute. So that's the best way to say it. So I'm gonna let it continue. It's just another example of someone who is being nominated by Tangerine for very important policy decisions, a very important position.
Of that memo.
Would you be able to get your hands on one?
Well, I also have client confidentiality concerns with my clients as well, but I don't have a copy of the memo, no.
Well, we also have disclosure interests when you're a candidate for a significant federal position. So are you asserting that there's an attorney-client privilege between you and the Murray Energy Corporation with respect to the 3-page plan?
I've deregistered representing him as of August, and I don't have one in my possession.
Have you seen it?
I saw it briefly at the beginning of the year, but I don't have a copy of it.
Do you recall anything about it?
No, I mean, I know that I don't even know how many pages it was. I think you said it was 3 pages?
That's what Bob Murray said it was. I've never seen it, so I wouldn't know, but he said he had a 3-page plan that Scott Pruitt is implementing for him at the EPA and that he's through the first page for Bob Murray already.
Yes.
So I'm trying to inquire about that. You said you've seen it. You're not sure. Did it look like 3 pages, 2 pages, 4 pages? You're the one who saw it.
Somewhere around there. I did not have it in my possession. I looked at it, handed it back to him. I don't have it. I don't.
Do you remember where you were when you looked at it and what the context was for that conversation?
No, actually I don't. It may have been in our offices, but I don't remember.
Our offices, meaning your law firm?
Yes.
Well, I guess I'll try to follow that up further with questions for the record, because I think it's something of a significant situation if the CEO of a regulated industry is saying that he has given his regulator a 3-page plan, takes credit for having gotten through the first page of it already, We have a candidate for deputy administrator who said who's seen it and can confirm that it exists. And I think the American people are entitled to an EPA that is not following coal company's 3-page plan, but is following wherever the best interests of the American people lead, wherever the best interests of real science lead. So I hope that the chairman will allow us to consider pursuing how we get our hands on this 3-page plan that Mr. Wheeler has seen and that is evidently, according to Mr. Murray, now driving what happens at EPA. One question for Ms. Hartnett White. Are you aware of anything that is happening in the oceans that relates to fossil fuel emissions?
There are probably a number of them.
Name a few.
I have a very superficial understanding as far as but acidification issues is one.
Yeah.
I've not read widely or deeply. I have read some, which different perspectives, some of which suggest that it's a very, very fragile set of changes in acidification. I have others that say that for long eons of geological history, there are certain places of certain oceans may have changes in acidification levels, but not others. So such that changes either up or down are not inherently a problem. But I cannot speak as an authority on that. But I'm aware it's one of the multiple key issues as far as potential impacts of man-made global warming.
My time's expired, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for letting me go over about 50 seconds.
Okay, so that's the end of that video. Let me go back. And there's another one with Cory Booker. There are a few of them, actually. So take the time, if you have time, to read or watch some of the videos, and that ends it for me. I think it was self-explanatory. You may have to go back and watch the exchange a few more times to really understand what it is they are interrogating her about, and interrogating the Wheeler character, interrogating him about. He would be, I think, deputy administrator of the EPA, and she would be director of the EPA. So imagine what our society would look like if we have these two idiots, these two bumbling fools. One who thinks that CO2 is just a plant nutrient and has no effect on human life, and she looks like she's cracked out every time you see her. And the other one who pays to play. He is a lawyer, so he's a professional liar. And these are the two people that Trump wants to put over the EPA, basically. But let me know what you think in the video, at the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you wish to, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.